Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of New Game Plus, the channel dedicated to providing an overview of both classic and new games. Today's episode will be showing Dark Cloud, the very first game developed by Level 5, the company that went on to produce the Professor Layton and Yokai Watch series. Dark Cloud sold just over 1.5 million copies and was released in 2001, shortly after the launch of the PS2. It was fairly well received by most publications and later went on to receive an even more well received sequel. Before we start, I would like to give a warning. This video will go over a large majority of the game, and while I would like to avoid major story points, there will be a lot of spoilers throughout this video. Dark Cloud is a single-player, third-person RPG that comes in with many interesting new ideas and gameplay methods. The game is divided into two main different playstyles: dungeon exploration, which involves moving about a randomly created dungeon. The combat is in real time, and each character has different methods of attack and special abilities. You have basic attack combos and charge attacks, and a lock-on as well as a guard. The enemies are pulled from a list of available creatures that appear on the floor and scattered about. Toen, the first character, wields basic swords and comes armed with a dagger. He can perform a 5-swing combo and a charge attack that's helpful against flying enemies. The leveling system is a bit different than most RPGs. Characters themselves do not earn experience, instead their equipped weapon does. Each enemy you kill provides the equipped weapon with ABS. When the gauge fills, you can absorb attachments, which raise stats. The stats range from the core stats of strength, speed, endurance, and magic, as well as various elements that can be manually changed, and specific enemy types that can cause you to deal more damage to those specific enemies it correlates to. As you level the weapon, if you pay attention to the right stats and level the weapon properly, you can build it up to a brand new weapon with better stats, and the process then repeats. It takes a lot of work, and oftentimes you'll be searching for the right attachments and gems to get the stats where you need them, but once you get them there and build up the weapon, it's very worth it. One fairly reliable way to get gems for upgrading weapons is fishing. You can fish in most bodies of water. You get a rod relatively early in the game, and fishing bait is something you find in chests often. Certain ponds have certain fish, and some are worth more than others. Each fish you catch gives you FP, or fishing points. You can exchange these fishing points for weapon attachments, valuable gems, or even some upgraded weapons. Your weapons can't just be used over and over again though. As you use them, the WHP or weapon health drops. If this number hits 0, the weapon disappears forever, unless it's the character's default. This system definitely can cause a lot of frustration in restarted files. Losing a weapon you've spent hours of time on will make you want to reset to the last save. Because of this, players will want to save after each floor, to avoid losing any hard work. Though the developers were sure to try to avoid this by giving ample warnings, and an alarm that gets louder and louder the lower the weapon health gets. There is also a thirsty gauge that slowly decreases. When it depletes fully, you begin to have your health slowly drain away. Health can be restored either by eating foods like bread and cheese, returning from the dungeon, or entering springs that often appear. These also refill the thirst gauge for you. The story opens with a mysterious cult attempting to revive an evil genie from legend. This dark genie immediately goes to nearby towns and destroys everything before it. Meanwhile, the nearby village of Naroon is holding a festival. The main character of the story, Toen, heads out, but as soon as he does, the dark genie shows up and begins destroying the town. Toen tries to save his friend, however everything is wiped out before him. The boy comes to and sees a strange old man. This king of fairies gives Toen a gem called the Atlamelia, and tells him that he saved the village, and the buildings, of the town, by sailing them away and protecting them. Toen could save them by going to the nearby cave and releasing them from the Atla, and that only he, armed with the power of the Atlamelia, would be able to stop the Dark Genie. Halfway through the first chapter, Toen meets a mysterious man, clad in black, with white hair. He wishes to have the power of the Atlamelia, prompting a quick duel. This is done in a QuickTime event. If players can complete these various events perfectly, they will be rewarded. After the duel, the mysterious person gives Toen a changing potion, which he uses on a cat that has been following him around, granting him your first additional party member. This transformed cat, Zhao, fights in combat using a slingshot. Fighting at a range is extremely helpful in this game. While weaker, she can easily dispatch foes without ever being in danger of taking damage. She has the ability to jump across gaps, allowing you to explore even more of the dungeon. Delving deeper, you come to the chamber of the great flying beast Dran, under the influence of the Dark Genie's power. The boss fights in Dark Cloud come after getting new characters, and like the Georama, are often puzzles themselves. Dran requiring a shot from Zhao to ground him, to allow Toen to strike him. After the confrontation, the great creature tells Toen more about the Dark Genie. He says the mythical moon people sealed him away long ago. he suggests searching them out so that they can seal them away again. The moon people reside near the forest village to the south, so Toan and Zhao head there next. As you travel, your party will grow. Each chapter brings a new playable character with unique weapons and abilities. Goro, who fights with large hammers and axes, doesn't have a combo like Toan, but his swings do a lot of damage and knock enemies back. He has a very useful charge attack that not only makes him invincible for a few seconds, but allows him to hit targets in a large area multiple times. It'll easily dispatch bulky targets, but it will chew through weapon health quickly, so watch out using this technique. In the dungeons, he can use his large weapon to hit switches and raise gates to new areas. Ruby, the witch, fights with a magical brassard, and is another excellent character because her magic is not only long-ranged, but also fairly powerful. It can even be charged for more power. She is great at dispatching enemies from long distance. In dungeons, she can shoot spells at orbs that seal off gates and open them, though you will need to keep switching elements often. Ungaga, the sand warrior, wields a fighting staff or spear. In combat, he has a 3-hit combo that's fairly fast. The long range of his weapon keeps him a good distance out of danger. Instead of a charge attack, he has a channeling attack that sends out a tornado. It does, however, use up weapon health very fast, and it can be used to clear out the dark fog that's in dungeons. Osmund is one of the moon people, a brilliant inventor that flies around in a mini copter kind of rig. He has a variety of different guns, mostly rapid fire or lasers. Like Zhao though, he has no charge attack, but his long range keeps him safe from harm. He can cross the same gaps as Zhao as well as new ones that only he can fly over. As you traverse dungeons, you will find large orbs called Atla. Inside will contain various things that correlate to the chapter you're in, things like houses, buildings, people, animal, common household items, and the like. This is where the second aspect of the game comes in, called Georama. Toan, equipped with the Atlamelia, has the ability to unleash these objects and arrange and reorder the entire town. The villagers will each give requests and demands on how to rebuild the town, and ask for things they wish to have. Once you complete the tasks, you'll get rewarded for each building you finish. Some of these demands and requests can cause struggles when building, likely causing people to restart the entire process. If players can complete everything and do the puzzle-like building process, they will receive very good rewards though. Doing the Georama in each area, as well as clearing floors in the dungeon, will add miracle chests to the town you are recreating. These chests come with a variety of things like healing and usable items, attachments for upgrading your weapons, gourds which will raise and refill your thirst gauge, Fruit of Eden which raises whoever's max HP you give it to by 10, each ally you get also has a favorite food. Finding and giving it to them will raise their defense, allowing them to take a few more hits. As you progress through the game, searching for ways to destroy and seal the dark evil genie, you will come across varied areas and villages in need of repair through Georama and an associated dungeon to go with it. The forest village of Matataki in the Wise Owl Forest, the port town of Queens taking you to an abandoned shipwreck, the desert village of Muskaraka and an ancient temple, and even the moon itself. After finishing the final boss, you'll get a prompt to save. While there isn't exactly a New Game Plus feature, there is however what I call the other side of the coin, in post-game features. You gain access to the extensive and difficult Demon Shaft Dungeon, which is 99 floors long. There is no extra story to this dungeon, nor does it have a Georama, but it can be fun to do if you want to keep playing and grow your weapons even more. If a player manages to go through every single floor, they'll be presented with a Chronicle 2, the ultimate weapon for Toan. However, at that point your upgraded weapons may very well be better, and at that point there'll be little else to do with this weapon other than redo the final boss. Dark Cloud is a very fun and different RPG with non-traditional weapon leveling systems. While it can take a long time and is very frustrating, needing the right attachments and repairing your weapons being a constant worry, finally getting to build up the weapon is extremely gratifying. Seeing the weapon morph into something new is very interesting. The Georama building is quite unique and fun. Figuring out how you want to design the town while still keeping to the requests can be a neat challenge. If you want a dungeon crawler with a mix of town building and a compelling story, Dark Cloud is a game that changes the formula of traditional RPGs, and it's one I recommend. Thank you everyone for watching. If you enjoyed the video or you'd like to see more, subscribe for other future videos or follow me on Twitch at NewGamePlusDerek, where I stream the games I turn into videos. Thanks again, and feel free to comment on how I can improve or what you enjoyed. Have a great day.